This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for Avoid the maze of life. Um, you know, I was just talking to my guest, Veronica Williams, before we went live, and we were talking about that we're sort of like on this hamster wheel all the time. We're just always trying to do something, get something accomplished. And then it comes a day when, hey, we don't have to do so much. And we just wonder where all that energy went because I know I feel very depleted today. Um, I don't know if it's the weather or if it's anticipating the time change. And, if I'm tired today, I definitely will be tired tomorrow. But my guest today is Veronica Williams. And a couple of weeks ago, we had her husband on, Daryl Williams. And Veronica, as I told you before we went live, when I read Daryl's bio initially, I thought, oh, this is going to be just a difficult conversation. He's just so prim and proper. I'm just not going to be able to feel his mission. And within 30 seconds, it was like, I can feel it. I had so much time talking to him. But one of the things he talked about was you and the role that you play in the organization. And as I was going through your bio again today, um, I love this last sentence in your bio. I'm not whole unless my sister is whole. That is so beautiful because we all have to be together. We all have to support each other. And that's what I think you're trying to do. So give us a little bit of background.
Yes, thank you, Karen, for having me. I, as you know, Alliance Seminars is a faith-based organization, and I own the organization with my husband, Darrell Williams. And a portion that I play is that I am a master's certified life coach as well as a minister. And I particularly focus on relationships and empowering women and men at times um, for clarity and purpose and resilience. That last statement that you read, I am not whole unless my sister is whole, derived, if we want to put some time frame on it, around this time, um, springtime 2005. I was teaching a women's Bible study at my church on a Saturday morning. And as the women began to share, I heard from their voices and from what they were sharing about the topic. I don't even remember the topic, but I heard brokenness. I heard woundedness. I heard pain, hurt that had not been resolved over the years, which was leading to where they were today, which is how I went on several different topics to grow the women, to empower them. Because it was a faith-based church, it was empowering them to have God's confidence
Sure.
and to be in the image of God in their homes, in their workplaces, in their communities. And as they began to share, my heart began to pound with pain. And as though I might have felt like I was in a season where I had grown and matured and had such a relationship with Christ that I was now able to be transparent and share with others, which caused a little bit of wholeness. But what I heard the Holy Spirit say to me was that I am not whole unless my sister is whole. And what that means is, even though life for me was going well, treating me well, I was doing well, I really wasn't as whole as I could be because my sister was wounded, broken, disturbed from all of life issues that had never had any resolution over over the course of their lifetime. And so I felt that that was something God was allowing me to learn, and that was, or to have a passion about. And that's where rebuilding or reestablishing relationships and empowering individuals to be more. And how do they get out of it? Which is where, at the time, I was not a life coach. I was in a direction for being a minister at the time. I had accepted my calling and I was on the road to it. Um, and it allowed me to realize that, Veronica, you really haven't made it in life. You really haven't been whole until you help someone else. And that someone else is my sister. She doesn't have to look like me. She doesn't have to be in my marital status. I think at that point I was a new mom of 4 months or so. She didn't have to be a mom. It was just any woman that I identified with as a woman. And to have this interview today, how honorable it is that this month is International Women's History Month. And yesterday, March 8th, was the official day. And I can say I am proud to be a woman, and I'm proud to be a woman to know that I can make an impact with those in my circle, with those in my community, and with those that are really a hand reach. I don't have to go and try to save everyone that is not in my reach, but try to make an impact for those women and young women, as well as young girls, um, in their life to become who not their parents want them to be, whether it's their spouses or their family, but it's who God says they are. And that is where we're building from the inside out the God confidence that it shines on the outside.
I love your mission so much. Yours is faith based. When I coach basically in the same manner, but it has nothing to do with faith. It has to do with who is it that we want to be? Who can we be? Many of us grew up in families where we were sort of told who we were going to be, and we followed in that pattern because we thought, well, what else is there? Until we got to a certain point, we said, this isn't enough. And I shared this morning at a group that I was in that I am finding there are a lot of women right around 50, 60 years old who are saying, I'm not sure I want to be married anymore. And my hand goes up, and it's like, before you say that, what is it that you need? Find out what that is. Don't just walk away from something. Let's not make a blanket, statement. What is it you need? And when they start talking about it, what they need, it isn't what they first thought it was. It's not their family. It maybe isn't even their job. It's their thought pattern that they're just not enough. And when they realize, hey, I'm worthy, it just spreads like wildfire in our groups. So, how do you help the women in your faith based organization? What are some of the tools that you use?
And not only are we faith based, but I find myself meeting non faith based women and just being an encouragement to people. What I find in that same age group is that women over the years, when they've had families, husbands, being a caregiver to their parents or ill children or their community neighbors or whatever, they've lost their identity. And that's really what they're saying when you ask them, when you kind of identify what they're saying. They've lost their identity and that they don't have a name anymore, especially women,
Yep.
not the men. When you have children, You're no longer your name. You're now the child's mom, right? Or if you meet someone in your past, you say, "Oh, you're so and so's sister," and that's where people lose their identity. But coupled with that, they also lose their self-worth and their value. And that's what I try to share with them is that go to the circle that would accept you for your worth. Go to the circle that would accept you for your thoughts, your opinions, where you can feel exuberant to be who you are. You don't have to force yourself in situations that are not accepting of you. You just got to know who you are. And one of the things that helped me, I was working on a job and a situation had happened. And this is something that catapulted me to where I'm at right now. It put fire under my feet to go and be who God says that I am. And that is because people have so many opinions. They label you. And by the way, I don't like labels.
Yeah.
Just let me be who I am. Um, and a situation happened, and God said, whose report are you going to believe about you? That individuals are mine. And I chose God. And as a result, I have to share that story with people that whose report are you going to believe about yourself? Because after all, don't you know, or you should be learning and you should be growing to know yourself more than anyone, right?
Right.
And so when you learn who you are, when you learn to be comfortable in your skin, right? In the makeup that God has shaped you into, it doesn't really matter what other people think of you. You don't, and what I mean by that, you don't let that develop who you are 100%. You do take some things in consideration and you look at it. Is there something there of value that I may need to tweak, whether it's my personality, whether it's my attitude? What a part of that is some truth that I can do inwardly, that I can do outside of the presence of people to grow so that when I go back into those circles, I can feel comfortable. I can feel like it doesn't matter um, what others think of me, but I have value to add. And that part of it is being accepted. I think so often we force ourselves in places that really aren't for us. We want to stay somewhere that is treating us so wrong when we don't realize that that could be a sign of God sharing that this isn't the right fit for you. This isn't the right place for you. I look at my life and I try to share this when I'm coaching. Think of a jigsaw puzzle. 1,000 pieces in a puzzle. They all are shaped in some likeness, but there's one piece we always pick out and we just say, no, it has to go here. It goes here. And you're like, it fits. It has the same shape, but the edge might be a little thicker. It may be a little thin. It may be a little round where the other piece may be a little square. And we're trying to force it there. But that's not what we're supposed to do. We're in this journey of our life to avoid, not really to avoid conflict and things like that, but we're to gain strategies and tools that will guide us to realize, well, you know what? That piece may not fit. So let me work it somewhere else, or let me figure out where that goes. And I compare that to our life, the jigsaw puzzle is compartmentalized by our life. And it has every area of our life. We just got to figure out what puzzle pieces fit in that particular area, whether it's the corner, the middle, the edge, the center. And that's how we have to live life. We take it as life rolls with us, we have to take it like that. We have to take life circumstances and challenges and look at, now, what is this saying to me? How am I to deal with this? And where does it fit with where I'm believing I'm to go? And where does it fit in the area where I am now? And even if it doesn't really fit here, why is it here? And what am I to do with it? And so that's really it. Giving women and even sometimes I'm talking to men as well that are
Sure.
broken as well. Truth be told, women are not only broken, it's men that are broken. Men just don't have um they just don't get with the circle of women like we are. We'll say, girl, I'm not feeling well today. You know,
Yep.
we're just straight out. We're just upfront with how what we're not feeling, what we feel. Men sometimes hold that in until they can meet another man that can hold them up and encourage them. And so with all of that I'm saying, we just have to find the proper tools for the area of our life that is challenging and that is circumstantial, because some things that come are just right there, temporary, but there's always something to be learned and there's always some growth to be dealt with it. And I think as we look at our situation and we realize I'm not in it by myself, I have another sister who has it, right?
Right.
I'm not going to be jealous of my sister. I'm going to really have the gall to just go ask, hey, I like what you're doing, and I'm on a road to that roadmap. Could you help me? And really, what we're saying is that, can you mentor me? I'm in a stumbling block, and that area where I see that is shining in your life, that is highlighted in your life, I love every part of it, but I don't know how to get there. And that is why I am not whole unless my sister is whole. I'm to help my sister that is stuck to become unstuck, to become fulfilled in her life, to be strengthened, and to be encouraged so that she and I can both move together, join hands together, and go get the next sister. Because it's like domino effect.
Yes, absolutely.
And so that's what I like to share with people is to compartmentalize the situation that you're going in, recognize that you're not in it by yourself, and deal with it. Yes, it hurts, but we cannot get healing until we go through the painful process.
And, I think it's very important for us all to understand that what we think of as our mistakes, as the things that have caused us pain, that they're the worst things that have ever happened in our life. And yet, it took me a long time to realize it. But once I started realizing that, you know, so I wasn't the popular kid in school and I sat home on Saturday nights and cried. But what I learned from it was how to become more independent, how it was okay to be at home alone, that I didn't have to just go out just like everybody else. And then when I went through a divorce early in life, I thought, how terrible is this? Look at all my friends. They're so happy. They're so married. They're so perfect. And then I realized, okay, so mine wasn't perfect. What can I learn from it? And I wasn't brought up that way. I was brought up in a family that if you did something wrong, it was, what did you do? Well, why did you break that? And I didn't understand any of this till after both my parents passed away. They didn't know how to bring me up any other way. But now that I understand it, I'm grateful for all my mistakes because, again, when I see a sister who's struggling, I can reflect, I can understand. They may not take the same path I'm taking, but there are hints, there are objects that we can help take out of their path to make it much smoother. So you said this all sort of came to a head when you had a young child. So, what was it about that time of your life that you said, there's something bigger for me out there? Was it being a new mom, or was it something else that God just put in front of your face?
I think as I was growing up in my life, like you said, I want to just say, our mistakes can become blessings, and it comes from our mindset, changing our mindset. Um, I grew up in Compton, California. I'm proud to be about Compton, California, from Compton, California, and a product of who of my time there. Um, I think the many teachers that I had that were successful, the neighbors that I had that were successful, the adults that played a role in my life, and most importantly, I believe my own mom, my sisters, they all made up who I was. And it was when I became about 18, I had to find out who was I for me and not for everyone else. In a nutshell, finding my own individuality, finding the gifts that God wanted me to use in this world, doing what God wanted me to do. Was it a straight and narrow path? No, it was not. But I do say that the path that I went and the course that I've taken has built my strength and my faith in Christ, which is who I am, the woman today, that I love him with all of my soul, with all of my heart, with all of my mind, and that I'm trying to do what he wants me to do and not what people want me to do. And trying to share that. And now we don't always get it right, but we do have to revert back to what has allowed us to pivot to the straight and narrow, or allowed us to pivot in life to get us back to where on course to where we need to go. And I think that is it. I um, I think it was just a number of things in my life that has just led me to be where I am today, and realizing, um, is this the type of entrepreneur that I had planned to be? Did I plan to be a coach? That was not in my mindset back then. But I want to say, when we talk about our life, even when I was in middle school and high school, college, people came to me for advice. Did I know I was trying to coach them the right way? I didn't know I was coaching. But one of the things that they always said is that you are a great listener. I come to you because you listen, right? I have to kind of remember to do that now as you get older. But you listen and you don't judge me with the information that I share, and you don't share it with other people. And I did not know that right there, that's from when I was younger in my youth, has catapulted me into where I am now as an adult. That is the pivotal moment in my life from that I see has really transcended into where I am today. And I think that is how it developed. And that is being a good friend and always having a compassionate heart and empathy for others. I learned that in my home life, um, within my family, within my community, and to take that with me wherever I go. I could be in the grocery store and I'm supposed to be getting groceries, but someone stops me and I'm helping in a compassionate way. You know, I and that's just who I am. We get so serious about life, where even with me, I had to learn to realize life is not all that serious, and it's not meant to be serious. Now there's responsibilities that are supposed to occur,
Sure.
but you don't have to take everything or wherever or have your feelings all on your sleeve to get upset because someone said something wrong or you misinterpret it. But growing in that, area is where I had to grow, right? I had to, and part of that I didn't realize it can come from your background. It can come from um, the circles of your friends and your community that you're in. And so learning how to develop and navigate out of that is what gets us to where we can kind of um, the good thing that I want to just pin that right now and just say this. The good thing about life is that, and how it turns out from one day to the next, is that every day there's a new day and you can start it a new way. And I love that. And I love that every day can be a new journey. It won't look like yesterday. And even the mistakes are the things that you are the mishaps that you believe happened the previous day. There is a day to kind of reconcile it, a new day to reconcile it, to grow from it, to move forward. And that's what we do as coaches. And that's something that I do with my clients is helping them to move forward with their current situation.
Right. Absolutely.
If it's something that is so rooted that never got resolved from when they're going back historically to their childhood, to their teen years, and they're now, as you were starting out, and they're adults with families, then that's when we have to recommend them to the appropriate counseling or therapist, because we can't fix that. But if you're in a place that is ready to just move forward and deal and tackle with today, that's where coaches come in. Because
Exactly.
that, and not that it's not going to be a lot of work, it's not going to be a process to get through there, but we're here to work through that for you. Because by the time you get to that situation, your mindset is not in a place, right? Or your emotions are not in a place to fix your own problem. So that's why you have others to talk it out with. You have someone else to ask the key questions that go off in your mind to allow you to say, oh, I never thought about it this way. And then you find your own, we help them to find their own solutions. We never try to tell them what to do. And I think those are some of the tools that we talk about in helping our clients and getting them to navigate life, to be empowered, to be strengthened, to be encouraged, and to move forward and to be their own motivation from the inside out, not so much from the outside in. Because what we see is a sure deterrent of what we may not have on the inside of us. But if we began to increase and strengthen our faith, not only from a spiritual way in Christ, but even we have to have faith that we can do it. We have to have faith and belief in ourselves to do something different that doesn't seem to that is out of our comfort zone. And so one of the ways is learning how not to get in our comfort zone. And I'm going to tell you, my life has been that I'm always faced not being in my comfort zone. That's where I gravitate to, but I'm never in my comfort zone. And I can really say that with an assurance that I am daily working out of my comfort zone. But I work out of it with a mindset of positivity and a positive and faith that I can do it, and faith in who I know that allowed me to live another day, which is God, to be able to know that He knows that I can do it. So,
And
and sharing it with our clients, faith-based or non-faith-based, in a way that is tailored for them to understand, because everyone learns differently. So you're totally always kind of reshaping how you're going to handle each person's circumstance when you're talking with them and coaching them through their situations. And it's not always something negative, it can always be something positive. Um,
absolutely. And the interesting part about all this that you're talking about, you grew up in a community that was very tough at the time. It still is, but very tough back then, especially. People on the outside didn't think much of Compton. And so it was almost like a conflict to be able to pull out of there. But I know you and your husband did, and you've taken it to much greater lengths. And what I want people to understand is that we can change. And I hate when somebody says, no, I'm never going to change. In fact, my husband is a very stubborn person, and he'll say, I'm never going to be able to do that. And I look at him and go, well, never is a long time. So we'll see. And I don't judge him for not making a change, but I find that he does make those changes, in little bits and pieces. I'm the type more like you that I jump in. I'm very uncomfortable, but I'm gonna make those changes before the negativity takes over. But we all can do it. We all can live our best life, but we also have to understand what that means to us. And the best life doesn't mean living in Beverly Hills, with so much money you don't know what to do with. And I told somebody even this morning, my best life, sometimes it is paycheck to paycheck. But you know what? I know there's a paycheck. So I work in my positive mode towards that. So we all can do it.
Yes, we all can do it. And I think for me, there are great people that rised above and came out of Compton, great leaders, great politicians. We've had some of my older students that were older than me in Compton that went to my high school. They became mayors, they became great leaders, they were in the Senate. It doesn't matter where you are in life. You just have to have a little mustard seed of faith to believe that you can, and we can do it. And I think when we have others around us that are being successful, that is a great motivation that I too can do it. But it may not be the same thing, but it could be whatever I have an aspiration to do. And success looks different for anyone. And like you say, living pay to paycheck. If it's paying your bills and you're not in debt, okay, that's your success, right? Um, but it depends on what you consider success. And success don't have to be these great, grand things. They can be very small, but they're meaningful and they're impactful. And that's what we want to do. I just love being able to just be an encourager, to be a motivation and an inspiration to people to be um, who you are, number one, but most importantly, be who God says you are. Um, and don't discredit yourself, right? And realize that you can add value wherever you are to conversations, to your community, in public service, or um, any of those methods will help you to move forward. The one thing about life though is the situations that come up, we cannot avoid them. We may not like them, but we cannot avoid them. And we have to, one, realize that we're not in it by ourselves. And I guarantee you, there's someone that you know in your circle who knows someone that can come back to you and be able to help you with your situation. Because someone we know, or the friends or the circle that we know someone um, that is that has our experienced what we're currently going through that can help us move forward.
Absolutely. So, Veronica, tell our listeners how they can find you and Daryl and get the support that they may be looking for.
You can find us on Facebook. You could just say Alliance Coaching, our Alliance Seminars, and we're also on our website at www.allianceseminars.org, all one word. Um, I'm on Speaker Hub. If you put Speaker Hub and just type my name, Veronica Williams, my Speaker Hub will come up as well.
That is absolutely wonderful. Well, I want to thank you for sharing your Saturday afternoon with us. Now I want you to go have some fun and do something that really enlightens your day.
Yes, thank you. And thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Karen, for having me.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye
Thank
now.
you. Bye bye.